in the QQQs, but nothing too crazy. I was actually hoping for a monster gap up so we could just short this thing, thinking that nobody'd probably hold this bad boy into the holiday tomorrow. But we never get what we want in the market. So we're opening weak. I think we got to play for a little bit of a red to green on this thing. There's a lot of hot stocks running around right now. So you'll have to just be real mindful of it. I'd add this VNDA to the list here. You got yourself like kind of a flat top breakout. Really good action on this yesterday. You get a slightly weak open. I'd watch this one for red to green. UNG's back on support here. You know, you may get a little bit of a bounce day, especially if it remounts this 9 EMA. That could take it right back into the top of the trend line. The goose is loose. You know, this thing, the highs on this one's about 72. It should break over there. If you look at the weekly chart, right, you've got yourself just kind of like, you got yourself a little flag pattern right here, right? Whoa. Those lines. You get yourself a little flag pattern right over there. And as long as it's kind of hanging out over this level at 65, I think you're still really bullish on this bad boy. The one thing I'd be mindful of is it's been bouncing since 61. So, you know, you may just have room to the top of the Bollinger Band. Hey, Mikey, how you doing? Mr. Sheldon. You might have room just at the top of the Bollinger Band, maybe a quick pierce, but you may not necessarily go in and have anything else going. So just something to be mindful of. This GH is looking pretty good. This is an IPO breakout. We should have been catching this shit yesterday, especially after I was farting around all day doing junk. This one had a 9 EMA trender on it too. IPO breakouts can be they can be really powerful if you can catch them. They tend to run for a few days. My worry on this one is it did run a little bit aggressive on 10 points. You know, that may have taken some of the range out. So you may get an inside day on this today. You may get an inside day, or it could go red to green and then kind of fall over after it has an initial pop. But you should get a little bit of action on it if it goes red to green. Etsy, if the market does roll over, this is probably going to be a good rubber band short. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row it's been up. One more thrust. So for a webinar, hey Billy, what's up, baby? For a rubber band short, what you need is a break of the top of the Bollinger Band, an extreme overbought condition, right? So stochastics at least over 80, but preferably over 9. And then, right, you can go green to red on it. You'll have to time it with the market, of course, also. But if the market pulls back a little bit, you should have you should have $3-4 of downside on this thing if you can catch it. The caveat's going to be, right, you need a little bit of weakness in the market, or you'll need a big thrust through the Bollinger Band to get this thing back out. And you can see the last couple times it's done that. We get the camera completely outside the Bollinger Band. It does drift back pretty aggressively, so just something to be mindful of. This ESTC is also another IPO breakout that busted loose yesterday. I think this one might have some legs too. The liquidity on this one is going to suck though. Even though they had 1.3 million shares, my guess is the liquidity on this today is going to suck. Dude, you know, if you're running it just like a few hundred thousand shares or whatever, then that's just the nature of the game. You're going to have to let it go. Crocs has still got a little bit more. Now I got this ATVI on watch for potential short too. You got yourself a bear flag here. Actually, yesterday was probably the day to hit it. I had it on our watch list yesterday for the green to red, but I missed it. This one may do that again. So watch this thing. If it pops over, it pops at the open, and then it starts to roll back over. You may get a green to red on this bad boy. Cross is gapping down on some earnings today. You can see here pre-market, you're kind of making like a $60, you know, give or take a $60 level over, $36 level over here. As long as it stays under that trend line, I think you may have opportunity to potentially short this at an ORB or a quick pullback buy. Usually this type of stock, you know, a little bit of a pop and roll should work. CDNA's already gapping down like $3 today. This one's been weak the last few days, but if it could stay under this 200 SMA, I think this one's got a little bit of juice in it too for a potential short. Because now that it's under the 200, if you can stay under there, all the subsequent pops into that tend to get rolled over. So just something to be mindful of. Dollar General should have some good range on it. The one thing is, what was the... there was another one that was like a dollar store stock that just had earnings out the other day. And that one actually went red to green. That was DLTR. So we'll have to be careful. Like DLTR had a gap down the other day, and then it like went red to green and popped like $10. So I am a little bit wary of this DG, even though it's gapping down on supposedly bad earnings. Watch this thing if it cracks down here for the ORB, but be mindful if it doesn't and it starts picking up like right at the open, it could go like DLTR and start ramping back up to the upside. So it looks like a short at the moment, but DLTR did too, and then it went. And always remember, guys, right? Like your sympathy plays. If something in the sector had acted a way previously, you know, especially in recent times, then that may be something that you have to kind of put into your head that could happen. Also add in this Mitch. You're breaking out this bear flag over here. You're sitting on 2 levels of resistance. You're already starting to see some pre-market weakness in this. This RH may squeeze. You know, we've seen in the past with RH, if you look over here, hold on. If you look at RH in the past, see this back here, and this would have been June. You know, it gapped up on earnings, and it squeezed from like 142 to 165, so like $23 intraday. It had just a big, gigantic short squeeze on it, and then it just got dusted for like the next couple weeks, right? You have to be careful with this one because it should have some good range. Already gapping up 17%, $21. But because the float is really low on this, you're going to be like 15 to 20 million shares in float. It could move with even just a little bit of volume pretty aggressively. I put that on the top of the list for potential longs. Usually higher price stocks, you can't ORB them. What you have to do is hit them on dips. But because the float on this one is so low, you may catch this one really right out of the gates on an orb. So I'd really keep an eye on this one. And yeah, a couple of people have been asked about Kron. You know, I keep it on the list, you know, for sure. It's all over the place right now, and the pre even yesterday it spiked up and then just dumped. That's what's happening with these pot stocks right now. They just got a lot of bag holders in it, right? It's got a lot of bag holders in it, so we'll just be yeah. You trade what you see on this thing. It looks all right. You know, I haven't had much luck trading pot stocks the last couple weeks, month or so. So maybe that's just in the back of my hand, you know, back of my head. I just don't like when they kind of fade off like this after the initial pump. I like my pumps to have a little follow through, right? But, you know, if there's news out that, you know, it's going to have some acquisitions or whatever, it's going to do what it's going to do and just trade what you trade. So that is it. So those are the gappers for today. Short list. Remember, it's a short day, so don't get yourself in too much trouble. I'm expecting some good action in the first couple hours. Then we'll be good to go. Good. Anybody else got anything to say? Anything to do? Rock and roll, peoples. Then let's go and have a little bit of fun and, you know, do what we got to do. All right? Peace.